We want to talk with you about the books that feed your imagination and the vices that spark your soul.
We drink, we curse, we read things. Come sit by us. Expect no judgment, just good times.
Welcome to Paper and Vices. Books reviewed, vices indulged.
Mature content warning.
Hello. Happy Friday. We're recording this on a Friday. You'll hear it on a Tuesday, but it's Friday for us.
Yes, it is. I needed this Friday.
I've been so fucking busy this week.
We have.
Individually and collectively.
Yeah. It's, you know what, okay, so positive and negative. Positive, like, we've knocked so much shit off of our to-do list. Negative, I stand back, I'm like, the fuck did I do this week? I know I was busy, and I know it was stuff that I needed to do, but once I've crossed it off my to-do list, it's like it's
in the ether.
It's in the ether.
I know it happened. Like, Netflix is sending me text messages asking if I'm okay. I know I've been busy. I looked at my husband today and I was like, I have been so busy this week. I just need like 8 more hours in a day.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, maybe you should try to do less. And I was like, you don't know how this works very well. Have we met?
How many times did we tell each other, like, okay, I'm leaving. I'll see you later.
Goodbye.
Bye. No, like, for real.
But I found an unseen Bernie meme, and it's funny. Yeah.
But it was good. I think we talked to each other, like, maybe once today, and then we were like, all right, I'll see you at recording.
We try and save it on recording days.
Yes.
Our super exciting lives. Man, could you imagine how fucking interesting we'd be if we could have gone places in the last year?
Yes. That is, it is yet to come.
My God.
One day.
I feel like, have you seen the second Frozen movie yet?
Yes, I have.
Yeah, when she's just like out there screaming into the unknown, I'm just like, yes, take me with you. At this point, I would be happy going to a new grocery store. I'm not going to know where anything is at my old grocery store. I haven't physically been there in 9.5 months.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. And they rearrange those things like all the time. Yeah. You're definitely going to go back in and be like, yeah.
Yeah. Have you seen that meme that it's like, welcome to being an adult, things that make you angry now include when they rearrange the grocery store?
It's so true. It's worse though. You know what's worse than the grocery store is when they rearrange Target. Like, the fuck you guys do to me? You're all messing me up. Like, like the one...
I plan my Target trips out when I go physically. Like, I organize my list and I go around the store in one direction, hit the middle, and then go to the checkouts.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just like, haha, bitch, macaroni and cheese is in the back now.
Right next to the cleaning supplies.
Who gives you the right? Whoomst! Like, no.
Oh, man. What was a total mind trip? I love how we get on these conversations. But no, it was a total mind trip as they reorganized the one, like, over near my mom's house. And so there was this period of time, like, earlier, like, in 2020, when I would walk into a Target and not really be sure, like, which Target I was walking into.
Ooh, I had that when we first moved here. I was like, that's weird. This is supposed to be... Oh, right. I'm 4 states away.
Yeah.
I live here now. No, it's just like... Oh, and when they move the toys, it's worse because I have a kid and it's just...
Yeah. Is it worse or is it better?
My brain can only take in so much information, and I have been pulling up a lot of information from the back of my brain from statistics class in college in the last year. Like, I can't handle new store layouts. There's no room. I don't think I could learn a new TV show theme song at this point. So, yeah. This was totally in our notes to talk about tonight.
Totally.
What are you drinking?
I am drinking some Basil Hayden's bourbon, and
that glass is bourbon.
It's bourbon and Coke. It's a mixer.
Oh, okay.
No, there's times to like sip whiskey. Like I don't typically like whiskey like neat. I like it on the rocks. But because I like the clink of the ice in my cup, it's more of a sensory thing. Like it's yeah, I don't know. Anyway,
Having an alcoholic drink that's like more than a beer or a glass of wine, like by the time you're getting into hard liquor or mixer, I feel like it's full sensory. So that's fair.
yeah, yeah. And I can't stand like the fake ice cubes. I've tried them, and it just doesn't work for me. But anyway,
They don't
tonight
clink
is
the
not.
same.
They don't clink the same. Tonight is not one of those nights. I am. It's a mixer. It's a whiskey and coke. It's good.
Yeah.
What about you? What are you drinking?
I am drinking Rogue Dead Guy again because it sounded really good. But this one's in cans
Not in the
instead
40.
of yeah. So if I have two, it's still,
You're still
less. I'm still good. I mean, not that I plan to operate heavy machinery after this. I am a wild grown ass lady. After I record, I'm going to go put on Bridgerton and curl up in bed.
Oh,
Hell yeah.
so good.
Might
Bridgerton,
even
like,
eat a cookie.
yeah. Like the show, like, are you rewatching it?
Yes, it's good background noise for anything else. Because the score is really good. Like the
Fair.
score, and not just the Vitamin String Quartet covers of pop songs, but the score itself is really good. And the accents are really soothing. And once you've seen it once, you can just glance up and be like, oh, it's that part where he punches the ugly white dude. I like this part. I'm going to pay attention for 30 seconds. And then you go back to whatever you're doing.
That is good to know. I may have to try that. So what are you reading?
I am currently reading, or I should say, I just finished The Hidden Heir by Davidson. Kenley Davidson. It is the second in a clean romance. I guess it's a trilogy because she has another one coming out in December. But the first two books are with the same couple. It's good, solid fantasy. It's a very solid 3 out of 5. And I consider 3 out of 5 to be a good review. Some of the dialogue is like, you did not say that out loud before you wrote it, neither did your editor. Which we know is one of my pet peeves. And it's good. It's a solid fantasy story. There's good political intrigue. What I really like is that there's character growth, but their core values don't change, even when it costs them. So yeah, it's good. It's definitely entertaining. It's well paced, which is fantastic.
It's always a hard thing to get, so that's good.
Yeah, reading my own writing, I'm like, this is what I found the worst about editing my own writing. I have no idea what the pacing is like because I'm not reading it for the first time.
Right.
So like, if there's a big emotional punch in the gut coming in 2 pages, I know there's a big emotional punch in the gut coming in 2 pages. So I can't separate myself and be like, is this really boring? Because I'm not reading it. Even if I don't remember exactly what I wrote, I remember enough of the plot. I'm not reading it as what's going to happen next, what's going to happen next, what's going to happen next. I'm reading it in anticipation of what's happening next.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is why a good editor is worth their weight in gold and chocolate at the same time. 2 weights.
I think there's a blog post on that somewhere.
Probably. It's one of my favorite rants. So, the dialogue could use a little work. There were a couple places where I was like, show instead of tell could be good. But there was also a good and fair amount of showing, and I felt like I was within the scene. So it wasn't bad. It just wasn't 5 out of 5. I found the plot line to be intriguing. The character is well developed, and I am looking forward to the third one, which of course doesn't come out until December, but thankfully the second one wrapped up sort of the love story of these 2 characters, so that I'm satisfied enough. But I'll definitely read the next one when it comes out.
Yeah.
And it's also kind of a palate cleanser because we're like 16 days till Court of Silver Flames.
Yes.
And this was a very clean romance. And that has been promised otherwise.
What do you mean by clean romance? Like, what is that? Like,
Uh, they kiss a couple times. That's it.
gotcha.
I was thinking at one point, I'm not even entirely sure I know what size the female lead's tits are, which is very strange for books that I read. Um, within the romance genre, I should
Yes.
specify, within the romance genre. You know, nobody gets naked, nobody's making out. There's a few scorching kisses, and that's it. But you know what? If I would be cool with having them in my physical library, and it's a solid romance for people that, for whatever reason, don't like, need, want the sex. I feel like, and I always feel like this, when there is no sexual content at all in a romance, I often feel like it's missing part of the story. But
Mm-hmm.
that's because of how I personally view and have experienced sex within my own relationships. So I'm trying very hard as an adult to come around to the point of view where it's perfectly valid to not know when someone gets their dick wet during their love story, even though it seems kind of weird. And one of my friends, when we were like good friends, she's a pastor's wife, and she's currently borrowing all the Bridgerton books from the library. And I
Mm-hmm.
told her, yeah, I'm reading a really clean fantasy romance. And she thought it was the funniest thing ever because normally it's the other way around.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, yeah, it's a palate cleanser. It's a good storyline. The political intrigue is great. Um, so yeah, The Faceless Mage. It's good. And it's on
Hmm.
Kindle Unlimited. So if you've got Kindle Unlimited, read it, read it, read it. What are you reading?
I am also reading a palette cleanser because I needed it. um, yeah,
Ah, January.
I wanted something really lighthearted and just predictable, yet still really good. And I was looking through. I have a huge stack of books to read that I've gotten from various book boxes and things like that. And they're
Yes.
still, yeah, good times. And
Oh man, speaking of book boxes, remind me when you're done. Continue.
okay. But no, just it's the book I decided to read next was The Love Curse of Melody McIntyre. It's by Robin Talley. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. But like the writing is very good. Like I kind of already know what's going to happen at the end just based on the cover art and the fact that I've read a lighthearted kind of romantic. I mean, you know
We
what? I
call
did not
those
look.
guarantee HEAs. That's a guaranteed happily ever after.
Yes. Yes. Although you never know, but I don't know. So I'm about halfway through it and I'm really enjoying it and the writing's really good. It's a really easy book and it helps me kind of break up the pace a little bit cuz the last book I read I just kind of slogged through and took forever. And I've got like a couple heavy sci-fi books on the shelf like waiting for me and I typically read sci-fi slower than fantasy.
Yeah.
Um
Sci-fi are not
so
something you tend to zip through like I do.
yeah, I don't think like it's not that I enjoy it any less. It's just there's something about it that I don't know. I guess it would be kind of like the difference between watching a movie in the background that you can kind of enjoy, um, and sometimes get really enthralled in, and then like watching something you have to like pay attention to like every single detail. And I feel like sci-fi
Yeah.
is like that. You really have to pay attention to a lot of the details, otherwise you'll miss something important.
I've noticed when I haven't read sci-fi in a while, and right now I'm in one of those places. It's probably why I haven't picked up To Sleep in a Sea of Stars yet,
Mm-hmm.
even though I have it. It's so pretty. Um, your brain gets into the habit the more you read. So if I'm on a sci-fi kick and I've been reading 80% sci-fi for 3 months, I'll rip through it. But
Yeah.
now that I haven't read any in a while, it's gonna be not a slog, but it's gonna be wait, what? Oh, I have to read that paragraph again. And so it's a different brain pacing. We're gonna
Mm-hmm.
pretend that's the correct word.
Brain pacing
Actually,
works.
I actually finished the Hidden Air right before we started recording, like 4 hours ago.
Oh, nice.
So I have to pick what I'm going to read now. And I'm honestly not sure because we are 16 days out from A Court of Silver Flames.
Mm-hmm.
Like all Sarah J. Maas fans, I'm hoping at least one of my pre-orders comes in a few days early. It won't, but I'm hoping. I have a really big to-be-read list.
Mm-hmm.
But on it is To Sleep in a Sea of Stars, The Once and Future Witches, Among the
Ooh.
Beasts and Briars, and Crescent City, because I finally bought myself a copy.
Yes.
And so
Fucking love that
after
book.
my palette cleanser, I'm trying to decide, because I recently reread all of A Court of Thorn and Roses. I'm trying to decide if I want to read a Moss book in anticipation of a Moss book, or if I want to continue avoiding fantasy, although this was fantasy, so it wasn't really, but it was clean
It's
fantasy.
different. Yeah.
Yeah. If I want to keep like to a different, more possibly even lighthearted vibe, or just something more different from more Moss, because like the second half of February is, you know, those oatmeal comics that mock whatever the current like pumpkin spice season or
Yes.
meme or whatever is, and it's just like you click open your computer screen and then it's just like dip, 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 all the stuff being vomited at you.
Love
That's what the second half of February and the first part of March is going to be for the entire bookish and publishing world. Except we're here for it. We are here for the vague chapter and page numbers about really raunchy crap that no one is going to get unless they've read the book. Give it to me. But
should just say there might be spoilers already.
yeah. Yeah. Well,
Hopefully
we're
not
doing a
too
special
many.
episode on it and we're going to read it first.
Yes.
I think the last time I remember people in general being this hyped for a book, like on social media and the internet, and I know it's because it's the bookish quarter we hang out in, is like when the last Harry Potter book came out.
Interesting. Is it really
'Cause
that much of a hype?
I don't think it's that much of a hype. But I am finding myself having the conversation with myself that I had when Deathly Hallows came out of, do I want to mostly avoid the internet for a few days to avoid spoilers? Or do I not care?
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Like, it's
It
not,
does.
the hype is not that big, but it is significant hype. And if all these mother fluffin' book boxes had been out when Deathly Hallows came out,
Oh my god, can you imagine?
we would still be in debt. I would just have a room that instead of wallpaper had shelves with Harry Potter coffee mugs on them. So,
Oh my god.
I mean, there's a lot of good sequels coming out this year, but this is definitely probably pretty high on everyone's list. I was
Yeah.
more excited about Blood Heir, but I'm a shameless Ilona Andrews fangirl.
Yeah, I would say
And
she's probably your favorite, so it's kind of hard to.
I do tend to gush.
Yeah.
But I have been really attached to that character for a really long time.
That makes sense.
So it's kind of different.
Yeah.
Whereas we're relatively new Moss fans.
We
So.
are. Speaking of like releases and Moss and everything, I think, huh, that's interesting English. So I
Not
think
like you're a teacher, it's fine.
It's fine. I haven't been a teacher in a while. It's good. And I'm drinking, so you know. But I think in November that was the original release date for the second Crescent City. Which, to be fair, like the Crescent City, this may help sway you or make your decision, but that was one of the most recent books that I couldn't put down, even more so than A Court of Thorn and Roses. Like I cried. Like I don't usually cry at books, but I cried at the end because I was just so wrapped up into the story and like what was happening, and I was just like, oh, these are real tears I'm crying here, and that doesn't usually happen.
Wow.
So yeah, so do with that piece of information what you will.
Ooh. I was actually considering also doing a reread of A Deadly Education.
Mm-hmm.
Just because it's so good.
I don't feel like that's a bad choice.
I think Shannon Mayer has a new book coming out, and I
Is that
don't.
the blood and something or another? Or that no, that's the one she's doing with somebody else she's co-writing.
That's later this year. So she's got a couple series that I'm really into that she's done. Um but one is Shadowspell Academy Year of the Chameleon. No, that comes out after Silver Court of Silver Flames. Okay. That comes out February 26th. And that's the Shadowspell Academy, the Culling Trials ones were the ones I told you about like 2 years ago, where it's kind of like Hogwarts meets the Hunger Games,
Yeah,
which
I
I'm
remember
always
you
down
telling
with.
me about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited for that, but for some reason I thought it was coming out earlier. So yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna read. I have this thing where there's like 3 days left in the month, and 2 days left in the month. Numbers are hard. Time is a construct. COVID time doubly so.
Yes.
I have this thing where like I've only read 4 books this month,
Mm-hmm.
and for some reason I feel like I need to read more, and I want to finish another book within the next few days that are left in the month,
Mm-hmm.
which really probably shouldn't do, but I want to.
I feel like if anybody could do it, it would definitely be you.
Probably be easier if I did something more lighthearted than Crescent City, though.
Yeah, no. Yeah, if you're gonna finish it before the end of January, I don't know. Maybe not choose that one if
And
that's the
as
goal.
excited as I am to get into To Sleep in a Sea of Stars, it's a chunk.
It's fucking huge. It's funny because that was on my list of like best of 2020, and I haven't even finished the fucking book. Like,
So
like
you
I
could get
loved
to the
it that
end
much.
and be like, "Fuck, I need to edit that blog post."
Yeah.
Christopher Paolini, take your Instagram like back, sir.
No way. I feel like the Inheritance trilogy earned him that like
Fair.
he gets that
Fair.
one. So, you were gonna say something about book boxes, and then you were like, remind me about boxes.
So I have 2 book boxes for A Court of Silver Flames coming, and I hope I get both of them by the time we record the special, because I want to talk about them. But I got January's Illumicrate box today.
Ooh.
They did real good. And I'm not going to spoil the whole thing, but one of the things, I sent you pictures of it. There's a set of 8 A Court of Thorn and Roses bookmarks.
Yes.
Like, there's all of the main characters, and I was just like, ooh, they're so pretty.
Yeah, we may have to post a picture somewhere because they're pretty. Those were, yeah. I was like, ooh.
Yeah. Yeah, they're very. I was like, oh, I should send some to Crystal because there's 8, but probably won't.
No.
Sorry. Crystal. I should send some to Lee because there's 8, but nope, probably won't.
No, yeah. No, yeah. Don't blame me on that. Oh,
What are your vices this week?
So somehow we got into possession of a big ass fucking box of Ferrero Rocher chocolates. I don't even know. Roche? No, Rocher.
Ferrero Rocher.
Ferrero Rocher. That sounds a lot more.
The crinkly hazelnut shits.
Yes.
Yeah.
A lot more sophisticated than Ferrero Rocher.
Now I have Papa Roach going through my head. Thank you for that.
So that, and I don't know, I must just, like, I have a sweet tooth this week. Like, I brought home a bag of Tate's cookies again, which I think I talked about. You were talking about some cookie that was disappointing, and we were talking about crunchy cookies. And actually, because we recorded that episode, the next day I was in the store and I was like, Tate's, I'm buying those. And then I brought them home and I opened the bag and was surprised that the cookies were pretty much gone. And I knew that I was the one that ate them. And I even opened the bag and showed my husband. And I opened the bag and I was like, I am not allowed to buy these anymore. And he's like, why?
Yeah.
And I showed him the bag and he did the thing because, and then he tried to grab the bag from me, which didn't go very well.
Like, how do you think that was gonna end?
I don't know. I shared with him, so it was nice, but I still got a couple more cookies out of it. But the entire bag was, like, I don't know, there's probably, hold on, let me think about this. I don't know, there's probably like 20 fucking cookies in this bag, and I ate all of them outside of like 2 or 3 that I shared with my husband in under 24 hours. I
mean, apparently your body was craving crunchy, sugary things, and you should listen to your body.
Apparently.
Duh.
But I was like, never again. Not allowed in my house anymore. But anyway, so that's my vice.
You're gonna have some in 2 months and be like, remember when I said I wasn't kidding more? Just
no,
kidding.
What I'll do is I'll have them in my car and then not bring them home.
Oh,
Air quotes, you know, yeah.
Yeah. Are you buying yourself any snacks or pre-planning any of your family's meals for when A Court of Silver Flames comes out? Because I just realized I have to do that.
No, but that's a really good idea.
Isn't it, though?
It is. I don't know. You're a whole lot more organized than I am, though. So, I feel.
Really?
Yes. Victoria's giving me a face.
I just have so many Post-it notes is kind of the thing. Now, the serious answer to that is I think I've become more organized by necessity because I run a household with 2 neuroatypical people in it. And it's a way to keep myself sane.
Fair. Yeah. No,
but then one of my very close friends gave me this amazing cup of coffee shaped to-do list pad for Christmas that says a latte to do, which is my new favorite thing. Yeah, no, we're probably going to have barbecue delivered the day I get whatever edition I get first. Because I'm getting 3 of them, apparently. Mm-hmm. And they're all going to be the same. Like, none of them are special editions because they didn't authorize a bunch of special editions. They're all the same edition. So I'm going to have 3 copies of them. None of them are signed. They're just all the exact same chonk book. So maybe I'll build furniture out of Sarah J. Maas hardbacks next year.
That would be really cool to see. You could totally make like a Pinterest thing about that. People be signing
bookshelves out of books.
It could work. So what are your vices?
My vice this week was going to the tattoo shop for 3.5 hours on Monday.
Yay!
And lots of CeraVe lotion. Oh, like when you get to that point, so it's my forearm, and it's 1/3 to 50% of my forearm that's covered, and I'm at the scabby stage. So like when you get up in the morning, there's like skin bits on your sheets, and you're like, well, that's gross.
Yeah, fun times.
Yeah.
It's always alarming, though, the first time you see it. You're like, oh my... I remember the first time that happened, I was like, oh my god, is it still there? Did my tattoo go away? And I had to look, and it was still there, and I was like, oh, thank god.
I'm kind of annoyed with myself, though, because this is the first time I've ever had significant shading. And she warned me. Like, you've had a tattoo by the same girl. She warned me. She's like... Some people's skin doesn't take shading well, so give it a month and then send me pictures and we'll do a touch-up. You know, no charge. And like some of the places where it's flaked, and I'm not picking at it, I'm being good, like half the shading's gone. And I'm like, what the fuck, skin? What are you doing? I just want you to be beautiful forever.
Oh, man. That happened with is that what happened with the other one that she had to touch up? It wasn't shading, though.
No, the other one's solid black. And it's because it was solid black is why there's like one tiny spot in the middle of a star. And she looked at it and she's like, why didn't you come in sooner? And I'm like, global pandemic? And she's like, fair. But she did tell me with this one, she looks at me and she goes, yeah, don't wait a year for me to touch that one up. And she's fair and correct. But she looked at my first one and she was like, yeah, no, that healed pretty well considering the whole thing is solid black. Like,
Yeah.
you just got solid black for your first tattoo. And I'm like, well, I mean, if you're going to be a little bitch, don't do it. That's what I was thinking, but that's not what I said. Um, I don't have any color tattoos because colored tattoos are beautiful, and I'm not saying I would never have any. I just like the ability to wear all black. And if I was wearing all black but had a bright red flower on my forearm, it would drive me crazy.
Fair. Never thought about that, but I mean that makes sense. All mine are black too. It was like actually she put the white in there, and I was like for the shading on mine when we went and got ours together, and I was like this is the first color besides black. And she's like, "Really?" But I think my next one I haven't decided if I'm going to do like emerald or purple. I haven't decided yet. We'll see.
When you get, because you want to get one of the girls by that artist you really like, Jasmine
Beckett
something.
Smith or something. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, some in that style. I don't know. I'll have to
Would you
see.
get that in color? Or would you do that in black and white?
I'm going to do that in mostly black and white / gray, like with shade, like lots of shading. And then I just want to have like a couple elements that pop with color. And I haven't decided yet. Like, I feel like that style goes really good with like the dark jewel tones, like the purples and the emeralds and stuff. So I'll probably do a pop of color there. So
I told her there's a couple flowers I really like. Like, we have purple hydrangeas in our wedding. And so we were talking about a theoretical possible shoulder piece in the future. And I was like, so if that had some of those flowers and they had like purple shading, and she's like, that just fades out into skin tone. And I'm like, yeah, exactly. She's like, that would be cool. And I'm like, yeah, that I'd be down with. But right now, I don't know if you can see, I'm so flaky. It's...
Can't really...
Yeah, it's... Yeah. Blech. It's the blech part of getting a tattoo. But that's okay.
There's a pretty picture on our social if anyone wants to see it. We have to scroll back a little bit.
It's a parasaur skull and wildflowers and a gardenia.
Oh, is that what that is? See, I don't know my flowers in that. Like, I looked and I was like, ooh, pretty flowers, but I didn't.
Yeah. I like plants. What can I say?
Yeah.
Like, every time I go to Trader Joe's, somehow 3 or 4 plants come home with me. I don't know what happens.
This is true. She'll message. She'll be like, I bought another fucking plant. Why did I do this to myself?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's okay.
So
what was our subject this week?
Yeah. We're talking about letting go. That's what it is. It's actually kind of a serious... I was thinking about this today. I'm like, this is actually a pretty deep, serious conversation for us. Like, last time we talked about breakfast, and now we're talking about, like, letting go.
I mean, sometimes you get there when brunch is over and you just have to let it go and get lunch instead of brunch. And...
This is
like you laugh, but we've semi-intoxicated had these conversations. Like, is it worth putting on pants to get brunch?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that's been a legitimate conversation. It's fair, like
it's fair.
But yeah, no, I think I can't remember if you, sorry, that sound. I can't remember if you or I came up with a topic, but I know that.
No, that was all you.
Was that okay?
Yeah, it's like a deep adult topic. That's you. This is your half of our brain.
Okay. But no, I was thinking about, cause I don't know, we talk about books, and like when you think about books that like changed your life, or made a huge impact, there's actually, and we don't usually cover nonfiction, cause we're fantasy nerds, but like there's a book called Necessary Endings by, this guy. He's a doctor, Dr. Henry Cloud, and he was pretty popular because,
didn't he write Boundaries?
He did. He wrote Boundaries.
Okay.
And that was a really popular book. Oh my God. Was that the 90s?
I don't know, but it should still be a popular book. Like,
it should.
Everybody. I feel like when you reach so many posts of over 300 words on Facebook, they should just send you a copy and be like, here, you need this.
Yes. Yeah. No, Boundaries was a good one, and I really enjoyed that one too. But I feel like Necessary Endings was bigger for me. It's actually Necessary Endings was actually written for. That's too many actuallys. Actually. um, actually, Necessary Endings is a business book. Which I thought was fascinating because somebody recommended it to me as kind of like a self-help kind of thing because of something I was going through. And I don't even remember what it was that I was going through at the time. Apparently something I needed to let go. but but yeah, it's all based around businesses and just talking about pruning and like pruning, like you would understand this reference more than I would, but just, pruning your bushes so that they grow healthier. And but it's really hard to do that because you invest time and energy and money into something, and it's hard to let go
and you
of those
can
things.
fuck it up real easily.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
yeah. Or just like the wind blows. I don't know what the fuck is going on with Bitcoin and Reddit or whatever, and I do not want to get on that conversation. But apparently, some people. You know what? This is a good topic. Apparently, some people need to let go.
When we're done, I'll give you the 30-second TLDR.
Yes. Because I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
What people mean by Dogecoin to the moon. It's okay. I got it. It's fine.
Yeah. So anyway, Necessary Endings. This is how we got here. So if you need a good business or self-help boundaries thing, this is a good book. But no, it was really good because there's a lot of pointers in there. Like I think the biggest thing in there was for me personally at the time, it was kind of like if your friendships are based on like memberships to something, then it's not like a true membership, or it's not a true friendship. Yeah.
Preach.
Yeah. So just kind of I was at a time when I needed to evaluate like what relationships were genuine and which I needed to purge.
Oh, I can take a guess as to when this was in your life. I can take an educated guess.
Yeah.
Probably approximately 12 to 18 months before I should have had the same book. No, it's a really good topic, and it segues well with fiction because it's an important part of so many protagonists' journeys.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also, apologies for getting real deep in adulthood here, not letting go irrevocably fucks up so many people.
Mm-hmm.
My relationship with my parents isn't good. It's never been great. It's because there's this toxic thing in their life that they will not let go of because they're afraid. It's killed their relationship with their only grandkid. It's killed their relationship with me. But they are not brave like Queen Elsa of Arendelle. They are not going to bust out into the unknown and find out who they are. They're going to sit in their little decaying hovel of mental and emotional shit and never let it go because they have bought into the theory of the devil you know is better than the one you don't.
Mm-hmm.
And not to be hyperbolic, it's fucked up their lives for decades and they may never get out.
Yeah.
This is how people stay in cults. This is how people stay in bad marriages. This is how people stay in shitty careers.
Mm-hmm.
You have to let things go.
Yeah. Well, and I think some people have a hard time with letting go because they've already invested so much time and money. Or not even money.
Is totally a thing.
Yeah. Or there's a feeling of like responsibility and guilt, like you owe it to. And this is where like the boundaries play in too. Like you feel you owe it to somebody else. So you feel guilty, for letting it go and being a healthier person.
There's definitely an element of that. I think I struggled with that. The project I was doing with someone before we started doing this, like before we were even talking about this, I struggled with that for a long time because I felt responsible and I felt guilty. But at the end of the day, that person treated me like I was disposable and okay, bye.
Yeah.
it,
Yeah.
it's not even, I don't think they knew they were treating me that way. I think they just, if I was willing to do all the work, they were going to let me. And that's not how you treat a partner.
No,
That's not how we treat each other.
definitely not.
And I think one thing I love about doing this with you is that I would argue we err too far on the other side of making sure the other person isn't doing too much. Like, you called me the other night to make sure that we were on the same page about something because you didn't want me to feel like I was getting shorted. And I will offer to do crap for you if I think you have a busy weekend, or if I don't know how busy your weekend is, because I don't want you to be overwhelmed. Like, those are healthy things. Those are people that take care of each other.
Yeah.
But if someone's just, for an extended period of time, their regular life pattern becomes to just drop things on you and walk away, you need to take down your French braid and let it go. That's not going to get better for you.
No. Oh my god. The French
But
braid thing kills me.
but it's not always necessarily leaving bad things. Like Frodo and Sam and all the little hobbitses left the Shire, and the Shire was damn good. But they left to have an adventure, to do something important, to save the world and find 11 seas in far off lands. And, we see Hermione Granger. She let the entire Muggle world go, in so much as she erased her parents' memory of her. Because at that point, not only was she a member of the magical community, she was literally willing to let go of the entirety of her life before Hogwarts to protect the new world that she had become a part of.
Yeah. I cried during that scene.
Same Z's. For real.
Yeah.
Especially since she's an only child. Like, oh.
Yeah, no, and it's weird because the reason I cried for that is not so much because of her, because of the parents.
Yes, yes, exactly.
Ah, man.
Yeah, yeah. And she didn't know if she was coming back, but she was basically just like, I mean, bitches get shit done. Somebody's got to make sure the world gets saved. Bye.
Yeah. No, it's interesting, well, speaking about letting go in literature, that's an interesting contrast with some of the other characters. You have Granger, who was very willing, not to say that it wasn't difficult, but she was willing to give all that up without anybody really asking her to do that. But then, you also mentioned the Lord of the Rings, and, some people are just forced into situations where they have to let it go,
So much so that they look at the wizard and are like, why did it have to be me? And the wizard is like, let me make you a meme that they shall possess for all eternity and pass to their children. No one wants this shit, Frodo. The fuck? No one wants this shit.
True story.
I've seen the movies, not read the books. I may be paraphrasing.
That's true. I couldn't read the books either, which I know as a fantasy lover.
Fantasy nerds.
That's kind of sacrilegious on both of our parts.
It is. It is. There's gonna be some angry dude from his parents' basement being like, these bitches think they like fantasy, but they haven't read the Lord of the Rings. Well, I mean, I like beer, but I don't drink PBR.
Wow.
I might need to edit that. I'm gonna get shanked.
Probably. Yeah.
But I don't hate people that drink PBR. And I appreciate what Tolkien did for the craft, but he also set a precedent for inconcise editing and poor pacing that is seen throughout the genre today.
So much detail.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, we'll probably get shanked. We'll have to watch our backs.
And there was no sex in those books, okay? Like, none. Ne'er a titty to be seen. So, there were some questionable end references, which just raised a lot more uncomfortable questions, honestly.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know. Maybe one day. Maybe when we go through classics. I don't know. I'll have to maybe.
no.
No?
No.
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 Okay. All right.
I'm gonna go with classics that I haven't tried and given up on. And I'm gonna just throw so much classic horror at you, you're gonna be like, God, no wonder you're strange. This is what you were reading in puberty. We see the effects that has.
Oh man, I look forward to that. Ooh, if you're gonna throw horror at me, we should do that during Halloween.
Oh, that would be good. Oh, hey, look. I have a post-it note. I'm gonna write that down. Horrible October, which means we have to start reading them in July.
Yes.
Which means we have to order them next week. Start a podcast, kids. You'll have lots of post-it notes.
So much adulting.
Yeah.
So anyway. I love it though. But anyway. Yeah, anyway. So it's interesting because when I was thinking about so here's a funny story. I can't I was thinking all serious about this topic, and then I'm walking around Target and Victoria's talking to me, and she's like, yeah, and then the literature about people letting it go. And I was like, oh, yeah, totally forgot about that side of it. It's like, what is it I do again? I don't remember, apparently. But the first book that popped into my mind was, there's an old book, and anytime I have, like, a list of books, like, it's in my list, my blog on books I'll read again and again. If someone asks me what of my favorite books are, it's always on that list. It's called The Arena, and it's by Karen Hancock. Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, is that the author's name? I'm like, fuck. But anyway, it's an older book, and it's allegorical, but I don't know, there was something about it that just caught my attention, and I haven't read it in years, so maybe if I were to read it again now, I wouldn't have.
There's one by Karen Hancock, and there's one by someone else. It's
the Karen Hancock one, yeah.
Callie Hayes is living a life of fear and disillusionment when she volunteers for a psychology experiment that promises to turn her life around.
Yes. So she had a hard time letting go, and I don't want to spoil the book.
I'm reading that. I want to read this. Oh, it's in Kindle Unlimited. Well, I guess I know what I'm reading next.
There you go.
Answered that question.
Problem solved. There we go.
We're solving problems out here. Look at us functional fucking adults.
But anyway, she has to let go. Like, she has a lot of life problems. And then she's just kind of chucked into a situation, and she's really fucking stubborn about it. And she doesn't let go even when, like, there's a situation that's just trying to pry her greedy fingers off of, just her life, just to, like, I don't know, chill the fuck out or something. But yeah.
But does she ever let go?
She does.
That's good.
Yeah, it is.
Is it part of a series?
No, sadly. And I know that Hancock
everything's a series these days.
It is, but this is a standalone book, and she wrote other series. I think one of them.
It's refreshing sometimes, though, to occasionally have a nice standalone.
Yeah. No, they're good. Like you said, they're good. Like, we were talking about palette cleansers. They're good palette cleansers between series. So yeah. But anyway, that's my letting go fiction book. That's all I got.
So my first thoughts were Ender's Game, which is one of my favorite novels. This dude's just a kid, and he leaves behind everything to go to the game school in space. And then if you read further and you read Speaker for the Dead, he and his sister actually leave Earth behind forever, and they start jumping from planet to planet, which is a way of jumping through time because time moves differently at hyperspeed. And he let everything go to save humanity. And even when it gets to the moment of his death, many, many books later, he lets go. It's not like he dies super tragically or anything like that. He chooses and he just lets go. And it's very emotional but peaceful. Like you knew he was cool with it. A Court of Thorn and Roses, she has to let go of her human life, and then she has to let go of Tamlin. And I think, letting go of her human life, she didn't really have a choice.
No.
Letting go of Tamlin, there's a lot of different directions she could have gone in, and she was basically just like, you treat me like shit and you don't accept me for who I am. This is not going to work. And she showed wisdom beyond her years in being like, I don't care if you're the super sexy king of the spring court. No. Also, these dresses are terrible. And I think one of the things we see when you come all the way around and you read all 4 books, including Court of Frost and Starlight, you see also, and this is a bigger world adulty lesson for all of us, she lets go of the perfect picture of herself in her head and accepts herself for who she actually is. And I think that's a thing a lot of people struggle with their whole lives. This is going to be the year I lose weight. This is going to be the year I do this thing. This is going to be the year I do this. Oh, I just need to be married. Oh, I just need to be in a better relationship. Oh, I just need to have this job. Oh, I just need to be a different version or have accomplished different things than what I see in the mirror every day. And it's good to have goals. It's important to have goals. I have so many fucking goals with multi-step plans listed in so many fucking places. It's important. It's good. A goal is a dream with a deadline. Good job. Stay cool. Chill pill. Good vibes. I'm just reading my stickers on my vision board now. But when you hold on to a version of yourself in your mind that isn't real, not only does it completely fucking cripple you in some ways, you don't appreciate and grow and lean into the strengths of the person you actually are. And there's a lot of truth in general in life that you miss when you do not accept yourself as you are. I'm not saying you have to wake up every morning and be like, I love myself. I'm perfect as is. If you do, boo, more power to you. Smack your own ass because you deserve it. But you can still say needs improvement and yet accept and choose to love and lean into the strengths of and celebrate and respect what you see in the mirror every day. But you cannot do that if you have some phantom better version of you that doesn't exist, that will likely never exist, living in the back of your head.
Yeah. Well, that's very true.
So I think the theme of letting go, it's really important in our personal, realistic adult lives. And it's really important in so many great moments in literature, because to go on an adventure, you have to take the first step, which is in and of itself an act of letting go.
Yeah. Or you're forced into it, kicking and screaming.
Yeah, like either you go, or there's an old grumpy wizard, or somebody sets your farm on fire or some shit. Like,
yeah.
There's a catalyst.
There
we go. Catalyst. That's my big word. So we would love to hear from you what your favorite personal moments of letting go are, and when you yourself have just channeled your inner Elsa and taken down your French braid and been like, I am done with this shit. And what your favorite moments are in literature, because I know there's so much more than what we've talked about here. We've barely brushed the surface, and I want to know when you guys are like, oh yeah, this character would have accomplished nothing if they hadn't have let go of what they had.
In the meantime, don't be an asshole, smoke a joint, and take care of yourself.
Or chew a gummy. Probably should have clarified when we started. I'm on gummies and beer right now because of the headache.
No fucking way.
Oh,
all
yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
This has been a production of Paper and Vices, copyright 2021. This episode is presented for entertainment purposes only, and any vice should be pursued only within the legal boundaries, common sense, and personal responsibility of each person. Please check your local laws. The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the individual hosts and guests only, and do not in any way represent the views of Paper and Vices LLC or any named persons, nor should they be considered personal, medical, or legal advice. Previous episodes and other commentary can be found at paperandvices.com.